We're going to make this a very quick, open forum. Welcome, everybody. My name is Dave. I'm with my partner, Max, and we're both with Engage Buy Sell. We conducted a really great webinar last week for 300-400 people. We were honored to have Mike Fazio, who is a leading consultant in workforce, join us. Max is going to talk a little bit about what we talked about. And then we're going to share our screen and show you, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 different workforce development clients and how they're using technology, Max, to solve some problems.
Yeah,
because it's all about engagement. So I'll kick it off and then we'll be done in 15 or 20 minutes, everybody. While you're coming in to the room, go ahead and in the chat window, pick everyone and introduce yourself and tell us where you are. There's Reba from state of Nevada. And nice to meet you, Reba. Engage Buy Sell. It's all cloud-based. There's no apps. We really have 2 simple technologies, but working together, I think it's kind of a miracle drug for workforce. We use text messaging, and we have a mobile web platform where you can store content. And when you send somebody a text message, and there's a link to a job fair, a video, a training video, a form, something, all of a sudden they read it. And as probably many of you know, Colleen, you probably know, working in Maryland, not everybody reads the emails these days. So that's what we're trying to solve. We've been in business about 15 years, have about 4,000 clients using Engage Buy Sell. Max has become, over the last few years, our real expert in this and has traveled all over the country and even Virgin Islands. And Max, I'll turn it over to you. And Hannah, next slide.
Yep. Oh, so those are just a couple of the customers that we're currently working with, located throughout the nation, obviously. But next slide, pretty please, Hannah. So again, like Dave had mentioned, this is kind of a recap of the conversation that Mike Fazio and I conducted earlier. I believe it was last week, and we're just going to kind of go into more depth of the technology. But first, kind of want to cover some of those hurdles in a real quick, like a minute here, on just kind of the challenges that we're all facing in the workforce development world, and then conclude with kind of the technology like David mentioned. And Reba asked if we'll provide the slides. Of course, Reba, we can get you these slides, no problem. But the big hurdles here, and again, if you want to go into some super depth on what Mike and I had discussed previously, we'll share that link to that recorded webinar as well, where you can learn all about this stuff in great detail. But the main hurdles here are how the job market is changing, right? So, and the compromised funding allocations is directly related to that kind of transition from high traffic to low traffic. And because of that, we're not getting as many people in through the door and in the system, and funding, allocations diminish with that. And along with that kind of goes with the integrity of the clients and the partnerships and the brand degradation. They all go down because of the funding lacking, and then the traffic is lower. So now we really need to get kind of creative with all the different resources and tools that we have to build those brands back up, right? So we really want to focus on how accessible our information is and how involved we can get in that community to build that brand, build that outreach, increase that accessibility to all the phenomenal resources that workforce development boards and organizations have at their disposal. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about on the technology side of things, and how we can help solve some of these issues. But next slide, pretty please, Hannah. And so the whole new perspective, like I said, is going to be, not just doing kind of a business to business outreach anymore with, just trying to access those partnerships with businesses to fulfill these jobs, but really get out in that community and get as many of those communication touches anywhere you can. Get out there in those schools and the youth programs and, places of worship, really anywhere that people are congregating and communicating with each other. We all need to be involved as much as possible, right? And just broaden that communication horizon as much as we possibly can. And we're going to talk about how the text messaging is such an efficient tool for reaching out into that community. And then the mobile web app is an enormously powerful tool for increasing that information accessibility, right? And that goes along with the skilling up and providing all those awesome resources, just creating that access and providing everybody with tools that they can succeed with. So next slide, pretty please, Hannah. So this is the part where we're going to try it out, right? Dave, you got your phone on you?
I've got my phone. Everybody take out your phone.
And we're going to text, and this will provide you an example. So text the word demo to 56512. And what we're all going to receive back is an example here of Middlesex County, their Workforce Development Board in New Jersey, kind of what the inbound capabilities can be to drive this engagement and create that contact list and create that excitement around communicating with everybody, right? So if we try this out.
And everybody, you should get back a text, like Max said, that says something like, thanks for learning how you can improve engagement. And we've added you to a list. Of course, we'll delete that at the end of this session. Let us know, some of you in the chat window, if you've got that message or you got a message back. Should have been pretty fast. Should be right on the spot when you get it back. All right. Okay, Mamie received it. Great. Okay. And if the others, let us know. Ed saw it. Great. Okay, some others saw it. Excellent.
Perfect.
All
so
right.
This is just an example of the call to action, right, Dave? So this is just something that you put out there in the community, create that accessibility, and simultaneously you're building your contact list that you can engage with further, right? So if we want to go to the next slide, we'll kind of talk more about texting and then dive into the mobile web apps. So this SMS capability, which is just texting, right? So a lot of times it's broken down into kind of the three different tools here. So you have your inbound capabilities, your outbound, and then your one-on-one engagement capabilities. So from the inbound perspective, this is where job seekers or people seeking, adult ed or training or all those different things can have these keywords, like, for example, texting in the word job, and you'll automatically receive a text message back that says, hey, thank you for seeking. It's so exciting. You're looking for a new career. Click this link to learn more. And that's kind of where the URLs come into play and increase that information access, right? So within the inbound, you kind of create this fun, organic environment of self-service and self-help. And then obviously, once you build these contact lists, you want to have the ability to communicate with them externally. So you can shoot out, text messages just maybe perhaps to 10 people or perhaps to 10,000 people. We have all the capabilities and scalabilities in between there. And those can be reminders for that next job fair, right? So you have that job fair every single Tuesday at the community center, get all those little touches along the way and you'll see your attendance rise, And then the one-on-one capabilities, obviously that can be as simple as a career counselor having a one-on-one engagement with Dave. Dave inbound says, hey, I'm interested in a construction job. And that career counselor can go into greater detail and just have that one-on-one communication about the construction careers that are available to them locally, right?
Yeah.
You want to talk about the mobile web apps a little bit, Dave?
Yeah, I will. I think our message to all of you that are on the call today, your job seekers, as well as your partners, if you let them opt in to receiving text messages, not everybody's going to do it, but Max, what have we seen? 85% plus or minus, at least during that period where they're really looking for a job, they are going to want to get a text message because they're not returning phone calls and they're not checking their email, but they're looking for a job and they want to work with you, but kind of under their own frame. So this first service, texting, I just strongly recommend every one of you on the call should have a text message service built, and it's super easy to do. And people can opt in if they want to use it.
In statistically, Dave, I mean, I always use the personal example too with the text messaging. I mean, look at how many unread emails do you have in your personal email account?
Totally.
You know, I mean, thousands. I'm guilty of it. Everybody's guilty of it. How many unread text messages do you have? You know, I currently have 0.
I have 0. Although that would be a good thing for all of you on the chat. Let us know how many unread emails you've got if you want to share that with us. You don't have to. And how many unread texts. But I have 0 unread text because it's so easy to go, oh, view, boom, 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 boom. Job fair, training aid, whatever.
And the statistics behind it, I mean, everybody knows, you know, I hate to pick on email, but a phenomenal outbound email chain has an open read respond rate of maybe 10%. And that's on kind of the upper echelons of their capabilities. It's just not what it used to be, you know? So, and then on the opposite side here with text messaging, and just kind of with that personal email account to unread text messages point here, 95% or higher text messages are going to have that open read, and more importantly, that respond rate, right? So you're not only getting that information to them, but they're going to respond to it much faster than they are you, right?
Yep.
And so yeah.
All right, well, we've gotten from 9,000, hopefully, Helene, that is not text. So well, hopefully that's emails, and Ed's down to 0 on his text, which is great, or email.
Yeah.
The second service that we found workforce development organizations like is, you see it on the screen right here, it's a mobile platform, because what we found is a lot of the workforce development organizations have a tremendous amount of information, but it's kind of hard to find. And so what our clients have done is they will use our little portal to create little buttons, and we're going to show you in just 60 seconds how this works, where you can store just the pertinent information that I, as a job seeker, want to have access to on my phone. Hannah, let's go to the next slide, and we will have everybody scan a QR code. All right, so you see Middlesex County here. That was one of our first clients, and they're a wonderful group of people. They have a little mobile site. You see it in the picture. And if all of you take out your camera on your phone and scan that, you will land on the Middlesex County Workforce Development page that they used our technology for. And you will be able to click around just like you're a job seeker. And I'm going to share my screen, take it from Hannah here. Max, are you able to see my screen coming up?
Yes, sir. We are good. It's loading up. You're good.
All right. All right. So everybody, this is the second service. Max talked about the text messaging. This is another part of our technology. And this can, of course, be branded 100% for your needs, and we'll help you do that. And all of the categories can be whatever categories you want. It's so easy to add content, just add a page. But what is the great thing about these tools? Let's say you have a job fair. They will add, there's their PDF on a job fair onto this page. They'll grab the URL for this page. They'll go to text messaging, schedule it to go out Tuesday at 9 a.m. to those 80 or 800 people that are on the list, and boom, out it goes. Nobody has to use their personal.
Each one of those pages has its own URL, right, Dave?
Every page has its own URL, which also allows you to track how much activity you're getting. So for the Scale Up, how many people are clicking this link? How many people are looking at this flyer? You'll know all of that. I thought it would be fun just to show a couple of the text messages that Middlesex has planned that will be going out in the next little bit. This is their dashboard. and they've scheduled some in advance, and many of you would want to do that. So if you see this line here, they have a text scheduled to go out in 5 days at 10:59 Eastern to a list called the workforce contacts, but you can have, youth programs and adult ed, and every member of your team can have their own list. And it's going to go out and it's going to say combat ageism. Here's the date, free webinar tips for those over 40. And then they put a little link, and that link can either go to their site or it might go to the mobile page. This is the mobile page that they've used on our platform. So you see, I can look at this on a computer, or you can look at it on a phone. So you can either quickly schedule a text message to go out to folks about some event going on, or you can do it like Middlesex has. They've scheduled these in advance.
Yeah.
Questions so far? Take a break here. We're going to end in 4 or 5 minutes, but what kind of questions are you folks, what's going through your mind right at the moment as you kind of think about this? Anything that that pops up? Anything we've missed, Max, that you want to kind of add?
Yeah, I'll just talk about kind of some of the frequent use cases here. I work with workforce development boards, and obviously one of the large challenges that they face is the employment verification process, right? So, a lot of times we can get great communication via text message, and the person gets placed into the career that they were seeking and things like that. Now, we're at the end of the rainbow here. We need to get that verification done. And a lot of boards will utilize that mobile web app, right? To create some sort of portal. And obviously a lot of people have different levels of verification, like, they might need a pay stub or just verbal confirmation and all those different things. But you can create a portal where you can send out a text message, say, hey, Dave, so happy to hear you got employed. Click this link to fill out your job verification, and just making it as easy as possible for those individuals to verify that makes an enormous difference, right? You're going to see an immediate return as far as getting those employment verification numbers up,
And Max, while you were talking, I just typed out a text. Hopefully many of you received it, just to show you how easy it is to do this. And just imagine 70 people or 700 people just got that message.
Yep.
Looking for verification.
Yeah. Yep. And I see a question in there, web app versus kind of traditional website. So one of the major advantages to the mobile web app versus a traditional website is the ability to adjust it on the fly, right, Dave? So you just literally have drag and drop content building, okay, within our platform. So let's say you wanted to get a piece of marketing material for an awesome career opportunity that you just got a call about, and you want to get it out to the public as quick as possible. You want to get it out there in the next 15 minutes. You have that ability with the mobile web app. You can, within 5 minutes, type up a little blurb about the career opportunity, put a little image with it or something like that, maybe a resume uploader, something along those lines to fulfill that position. And you can do that literally within 5 minutes on the mobile web app. Grab that link and push it out via text messages, and it's in everybody's hands. Versus with a traditional website, many of us outsource that kind of thing, and then you have to call the developer or the IT person who's responsible for that. And maybe they're not even the person who actually can have access to building content, and so on and so forth. And it becomes this long kind of somewhat irritating process for something that can be time sensitive, and it's all, as we know in the job market nowadays, is how fast can we get information to the people, right? Because it's so competitive, we need to be equally as competitive on getting that information access to them as fast as possible. So
I'll add one thing, Max, to that. I think, Max, you hit the #1 point. you have a job fair, you have something coming up, you want to have a poll, a quiz, you don't need to call your web designers like Max was saying. You just log in and you just add it, grab the URL, text it out. In 3 minutes, that interaction is done. I think the second thing is most of the workforce sites that we've seen are chock-a-block full of a lot of stuff. And it's more than the average job seeker who's just looking for info on this thing needs. So by having a mobile web site, which still looks nice on a computer screen, it narrows the focus down to just those 6 or 7 or 8 things that I really need when I'm kind of on the go. So I think the skinning down part of it, as well as the ability to change it on the fly, is pretty awesome. Max, I'm going to send out one more text that has a link to, oh gosh, maybe 5 or 6 different organizations. So everybody click that HTTPS link.
Just got it.
You know, and there's Burlington and Goodwill and Virgin Islands Department of Labor. I see we have someone from the Maryland Department of Labor. We're working with Virgin Islands, Goodwill, One Stops, and just tap around. Here's the One Stop. They want a very colorful little portal. But the key is text them somebody that's volunteered to be on the list, throw the little URL in to the event, to the training session, and you will be amazed at how many people will play the game and do the interaction.
100%.
100%.
You'll also be amazed at how many people choose to stay opted in, right? So that's kind of a new trend as well, where because that our current state of job market is so competitive, people aren't necessarily opting out. They want to stay opted in because that next new better opportunity might be 5 minutes away, you know? So they're staying in because they want to stay relevant and they want to stay up to know on what career and training opportunities are out there. So it's really amazing to see how low those opt-out rates currently are. And it's pretty phenomenal. Yeah.
We're kind of near the end of our 20 minutes. Any questions from some of you? Lisa said she wants a PowerPoint. Yes, we'll be glad to send the PowerPoint to everybody, as well as the video of the recording. Any other questions about how this could be of use? If any of you want a little demo done for your team, just put your email in the chat window and we will get that scheduled. But if you have any more questions, we've got Max's phone number here and email, and he is our workforce guru here. But if no one has more questions, then we'll wrap it up. Max, any final thoughts?
I think it makes sense to utilize every single tool at your disposal. You know, it's challenging enough when you kind of pinhole yourself and not explore every single capable tool at your disposal to build that engagement. And I think that's the key takeaway in my opinion. Yeah, I
agree. All right, everybody, let us know if we can be of any help. We work with hundreds and hundreds of workforce organizations and Department of Labor and commerce departments and everybody like that, youth as well. And Kim, we'll get back to you about what it would cost as well. Thanks, everybody, and nice to meet you, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye.